everyone, thanks for joining me today. We are going to make a beanie hat. I had a special request, so I thought I would whip one up, and I hope you enjoy the video. I will list everything you need in the description box below, and if you have any questions, always leave them in the comments below, and I hope you enjoy this video. Thanks for watching. You will need your yarn, your loom, pair of scissors, a darning needle, and a yarn tool. So we're going to start by making a slip knot. And for this loom, we don't have an anchor peg, so we're just going to choose one. And I placed a stitch marker on that. So we're going to start, and our cast on is a little different. It's not going to be the Ewrap. It's actually a double Ewrap. So you wrap it with an E, like an E stitch, and then you do another one right on top and just knit over. So here we're going to wrap, and then we're going to wrap again. Then we're going to knit over. We're going to do this on every peg the entire way around the loom. So just continue wrapping. Again, it's little E's, and take the bottom over the top. And this is our cast on. We're going to do this all the way around until we meet back to our stitch marker. Or if you have an anchor peg, do this until you meet back to your anchor peg on the other side. Okay, we are casted on, so now we're going to start with a knit 2, purl 2. So we're going to knit 2, and purl 2. A purl, you put your working yarn below the stitch on the peg, and take your needle and pull that loop out. Take it off of the peg and place the loop onto the peg and tighten. So again, put your yarn below the stitch, reach in and pull that loop, take your yarn off of the peg and put it back on. Now we're at knit, and we're just going to alternate 2 knit, 2 purl, 2 knit, 2 purl. We're going to continue this process of making 2 knits and 2 purls for 15 rows. This is making the brim of our hat. If you want the brim longer, feel free to make it a little longer. If not, do it shorter. You can do it however you want it. This is your hat. So we're done with our 15 rows, and now we're going to start E-wrapping. So our knit purls are done, the brim of our hat is made, and now we're going to start the E-wrap stitch. And we're going to stitch to the length that we need. If you're wondering how big you should make it, a normal size woman's head, the length usually is 8 to 9 inches. If you're making this for a man, it should be at least 9 to 10 inches. To measure, just take your tape measure and start it where the pegs are. And you'll of course start with the number 1 and just hold your loom down so your project is flowing down and roll out the tape measure to see the length. So just continue E-wrapping until you get to your desired length, and then I will show you what to do next. Okay, now we're going to bind off. So I want you to take your working yarn and wrap it around your loom at least 1.5 times. More yarn is better here. So just wrap it around whatever loom you're using about 1.5 times at least. And then just take a pair of scissors and cut. So now we're going to take our yarn, the tail of the yarn, and we're going to put it below the stitch on the peg, just as if we were doing a purl stitch. So we're going to reach that yarn with our hook and pull it up And instead of stopping, we're just going to pull the whole tail out. So just keep pulling, even if you have to use your fingers. Just pull, pull, pull. Now we're going to do the next one. So again, put your yarn below the stitch, reach with your yarn tool, and pull that yarn out all the way. It's okay if it gets stuck with the yarn tool. Just pull with your fingers. It really doesn't matter. As long as the yarn's going through the hook like that, it doesn't matter if you're doing it with the yarn tool or your fingers. This is referred to as a drawstring cast off. And it's very, very simple and easy to do. I like it, the way it makes the hat look at the top. Okay, now we're just going to pop those stitches off the loom. I already did the first one, so I'm down to the second. Now we're on the third. We're just going to take our tool and pop the stitches off of the pegs. On each peg, we're going to do this. Okay, we're getting down to the last one, so it'll just pull off. Now we're going to take our string, the yarn string, and we're going to pull it shut. You can see the hat closing at the top. We're not going to shut that hole all the way tight, but we are going to get it pretty tight, or pretty close. But we're going to put our string through, or a piece of yarn through, and then pull some more to close that hole. We're going to turn the hat inside out, just like that, and pull the hole shut. Make sure it's taut. And I like to look on the other side just to make sure that I did indeed close the hole. So That's just my preference. I like to double check, so I always turn it around and then I turn it back in. And now we're going to sew that hole up. So you'll need your darning needle now. The yarn doesn't have to be too long. Just give it a snip, thread your needle, and go around and close the hole. This secures it so it doesn't come undone. I do want to add that everybody does have their own way of sewing up the hole and the loose ends. Everybody does it different. Not everybody does it the same. Do whatever works for you. What may work for me may not work for you. It's no big deal. It's what you're comfortable with. I'm just going to hide this yarn now that I've knotted it and secured it, and this is our hat. I really like the color of this yarn. It's made by Charisma Loops and Threads, and the color is called Northern Lights. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe down below, and I will see you at the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye!